Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's yours truly, Kevin Key, Kevin Key Speaks. And what am I going to talk about today? How about musical chairs? You know, it's interesting when we think about the game of musical chairs because the concept is there's a circle of chairs, everybody has a chair, and then as the music plays, you get up, you go around the chairs, and one by one, a chair is pulled out, and if you don't have a chair to sit in, you got to get out of the game. And I parallel that to life, right? You know, we have these chairs that we've worked hard for, that we are looking for in an industry or a job or, you know, our own companies or hobbies or any of these things. And these chairs represent, you know, being solid in something, an opportunity. It represents us getting into something that we worked for. Some of us have just been given the chair. Some of us had to really work hard to get that chair. And regardless of what it is or whichever path that you went in, you've got this chair. And in the game of musical chairs, you are willingly getting up out of your chair for the possibility of being the last man standing or woman standing with that one chair. And for whatever reason, we value this one prized chair, when the funny thing is you started off with a chair in the beginning. And if you actually just sat in your chair and refused to get out of your chair, nobody could take that chair from you. But by getting out of your chair for the possibility of something greater, which is actually just a chair that is similar to the one you were already sitting in, we potentially lose it all and have to get out the game. And I think about that in life, right? How we covet that thing that somebody else has when we already had it. And all we had to do was just hold on to it. Now, what does holding on to it look like? Holding on to it looks like studying, being able to get experience, investing in yourself, researching, watching other people that have that similar chair, staying on top of your game. Like, all of these things are going to help you to keep your chair. Now, I remember when we first started into the industry, when Birmingham really started doing movies, Hollywood style films, I got called by this guy, Steve Moon, and he asked me if I wanted to be a DIT, and that stands for digital imaging technician. And at the time, I didn't really know what that was. It was basically, it's a computer job. Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do computers. And based on my experience from films, which I thought equated to this level, it didn't. And let me sidebar. Just because you, let's just say, are a camera operator or you've just done your own movies doesn't equate to the title of camera operator in a Hollywood film. I think sometimes we equate the title just because we've done something to say that we know what we're doing on all levels. But every level has its own set of parameters or expectations. And at this level of my career, I really didn't meet the expectation or the qualifications for what I was about to walk into. But because I had done things to what I thought was a high level at my level, that it was the same. So here I was given a seat, but I really wasn't prepared for the seat. And so once I got that position, because I wasn't, you know, qualified per se, I knew technically how to do the job, but I had not been, you know, brought into the culture of how to do the job. So instantly I'm bumping heads with people, I'm jumping in other people's seats, I'm moving in and out of the lanes and all kind of stuff, creating havoc simply because I didn't understand the culture. And it was this first AC that came to me and said, Kevin, you know, you're good at your job, but in order to be able to be successful, you're going to have to learn how to basically stay in your lane, how to work with people and bring harmony into the fold, as opposed to basically being a crashing car playing bumper cars. And I took that to heart and I said, okay, so basically all I'm responsible for is my seat and holding down everything that's around this world. and nobody's going to look at me any kind of way because I'm only focused on my seat. And so once I started doing that and I focused on my seat, the one that I was given, I was able to excel. And people looked at it and they were like, oh, this guy is a great digital imaging technician, because they saw me doing what that seat enabled, what that seat entailed. Now, the thing about that is you have to decide if that's the seat for you. You know, I think a lot of times we see seats that other people are in and we think, oh, I want to do that seat. I want to jump over there. And we haven't really done the research of what it takes to sit in that chair. And now we've jumped over to that chair and it's not comfortable for us. It's too, tall, or it's not soft enough, or it's too soft, or it's got a broken wheel, or any of these things. And so if we end up studying the chair, sometimes we find that the chair we're already in is a much better fit. And the thing about musical chairs is you have to get out of your chair for the possibility of getting in another chair. And so in getting out of that chair, you've created an open or a vacancy right there that somebody else that's outside the game, or somebody else that's in another chair, is looking to move into your chair. And so I think about that in life, right? We have these chairs or these jobs or these businesses or these hobbies or all these things, and we're constantly looking to jump to something else. But the thing is, you have to get out of what you have to jump into the next thing. And sometimes when you jump out of the thing that you have, the next thing that you've jumped into may not really be what you need to do. So I'm not saying don't look at new opportunities. What I'm saying is, before you jump, make sure that that's something worth jumping into. Take your time. Talk to other people that's already in that chair, to see what their experiences are, to see what their thoughts are, what their trials, tribulations, successes, joys, all of those things that circle that. And I remember my pop Matthew, he used to tell me, he said, Kevin, if you could just focus, you'll be successful. Because the thing about what I was doing was I was holding down multiple chairs, right? I had this chair, I had that chair, I had this one. I was DJing, I was doing handiwork on the side, I was doing filmmaking, I was running a bar, I was doing painting, I was doing all of these things. And I was decent at all of the things. And I remember Matthew fired me. He was like, no, you can't go on these jobs anymore. You're a filmmaker, so be a filmmaker. And it hurt my feelings because I'm like, why doesn't he want me to do this? I'm good at it. I can make it work. And I've got, money that I can make. But what he saw in me that I didn't see at the time was, you can't do your passion and be great if you've got your hands in all of these other things. There's only a finite amount of energy that you have every day. And so once you jump into what you want to do and you go all in, then you can create the energy that surrounds that, and people can start looking to you or looking at you as that. So for example, when people ask what I do in the film and TV industry, I'm a digital imaging technician. That's what people hire me to do. When you see these images of me on set, that's what I do. I sit at this desk and, well, actually it's a cart. I sit at my cart and I have these screens that I'm looking at, making sure the cameras are right, making sure the footage is right. I deal with post-production. I deal with the director of photography, the producers. So that's kind of my world, which is great. That's what I do. And that's what people hire me to do. So my equipment matches that. My resume matches that. My pictures match that. And when people say, hey, I need a digital imaging technician, they say, ooh, Kevin Key. They don't go in and say, oh, but he also is a DJ, or he's also a painter, or he's also, no, they don't say that. And so what happens is some of us are in seats, but we're holding multiple seats that people can call us for, and it confuses your success because it's almost like, do I really hire somebody that not quite sure that this is what they're doing? Or is it better for me to hire somebody that this is what they do? Now, you can do that on the lower levels and bounce around and do all this, that, and the other. You can be decent and have moderate success bouncing around, but it's incredibly difficult to have a high level of success and do things at the highest levels if you have not focused and decided what seat you really want to be in. Because when you truly decide the seat you want to be in, your whole life is going to line up to that. And so I'm encouraging you all today to try to figure out what seat you really want to be in. Because once you finally get that seat, usually it's after a certain amount of time, right? Because you got to have time and you got to get experience and, watching somebody else that already has that seat. And then once they finally get out of that seat, now you're ready to get in there. And the thing about it is, once you finally get that seat, you got to keep it. That's the hard part. Getting the opportunity sometimes is a lot easier than keeping it. And so I think about the film industry in Birmingham. For the longest time, we really didn't have certain resources in town. So producers or productions would come into Birmingham, bring things from other states, and then at the end of it, they would leave and take those resources. And that was the cycle. So I studied that and I saw that as a seat. And I said, ooh, that seat is the bringing in and out of resources in Birmingham. Now, if I can get known as a person that provides resources, then I can fill that gap. I can be that seat. And I used my DIT or digital imaging technician platform to help me to get in that seat. Because now I'm sitting there at my cart with the producers, the directors, and all the people that are bringing the production to Birmingham. And as they talk about, oh man, I wish we had such and such, I listened to what they needed. And one by one, I would just buy a piece of gear, or I would buy a piece of transportation equipment. And little by little, I started becoming the go-to person in Birmingham, to where now people are like, hey, call Kevin. Because I created that seat to be known for that. If somebody's looking for somebody who can be a caterer, they don't call me. Like, I'm not a caterer. Like, I'm in the film industry. That's my seat. So what I'm trying to encourage you all to do is, they say, what am I saying here? I'm saying that these seats are too valuable for you to just keep getting out of and just bopping to the next one, because you run the risk that your seat is going to be gone when you come back around to it, that somebody else who knew what they wanted may take. And once that seat is full, they may not get out of that chair for a whole nother cycle, which who knows in life how long that's going to be. So just be prepared with your eyes and with your resources, with your experience, for the seat that you want, so that when it does open up, as that cycle goes around, that you can hop in it and you can hold on to it, because you just never know how long it's going to be before it opens up again. This is yours truly, Kevin Key, Kevin Key Speaks. Once again, be sure to check out kevinkeyspeaks.com for more content, all different types of videos, encouraging moments, all different things like that. And continue to do the hard thing, people. It's worth it. kevinkeyspeaks.com.